All right, everybody, welcome to Stand and Bang. I'm your host, Kyle, and this is the co-host, Ryan. We're going to get into UFC 259, which is going to be happening this Saturday. It's a huge fight card. It's actually, I think it's probably the biggest one we've seen in a long time. It's stacked even onto the prelim. So we're going to go through these fights, and we're really only going to go into details on the ones that we're really excited about, that have fighters that we're really excited about seeing and really want to talk about. So we'll get right into it. We'll jump into Trevin Jones versus Mario Batista. Who do you have here?
I'm actually going to go Mario Batista. Trevin Jones, he is getting pretty much dominated in his last fight and had that lucky knockout. But Batista, he's looked pretty well against the guys he's fought, besides Sandhagen, of course. So, yeah, I'm going Batista.
I'm going to go Batista as well. And I do agree with you with Trevin Jones. I think he has a lot of natural power, but I do think that he caught, was it Valiev?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he caught him just really well right where he needed to. Ended up turning that win into a no contest because he got busted on a drug test. But, yeah, I think Mario Batista is going to take that fight. We have Uros Medic versus Alan Cruz. Who do you have here?
I'm going Medic. I don't know too much about either of these guys, but I've heard Medic is very good. Cruz, I believe, he's had a fight before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spike Carlisle put him out.
Yeah. That was Spike Carlisle's first fight. But, yeah, I'm going with Medic.
I think Alan Cruz has a lot more to offer in this fight, but I think Medic has a lot of natural power. But he did fight in, I can't remember what the promotion is in Alaska, but they don't really generate a lot of high-profile fighters. But on his Dana White Contender Series fight, he completely destroyed who he was fighting, and I think he's probably going to be able to do that to Cruz here. But if he's not able to end it in the first round, I think he's only had one fight go to the second, and it only went in for 1 minute. So he might get taken into deep waters by Cruz and might win, but I'm going Medic based off of pure just savageness.
Cruz also has a 7-inch reach advantage. Being a shorter guy, too.
Next we have Lavina Souza and Amanda Lemos. Who do you have here?
I'm going Souza.
I'm actually going Lemos here because I think she's the bigger bodied opponent. I think she'll handle Souza pretty well because Souza, with as much skill as she has, she doesn't really use it to her advantage as she should. And I think that's really going to limit her here against the bigger, overwhelming body in Amanda Lemos. This is one of my favorite fights on this card because they're so similar. Mm-hmm. Sean Brady versus Jake Matthews. Who do you have here, Ron?
Well, this is tough. I think Matthews is a little better on the ground, but not by much. Brady, man, he's got some power in his hands. Probably a lot better than Jake Matthews. Matthews is not that great on the feet, so I think Matthews will have to submit him or maybe just wrestle him to a decision. But I say Brady with a KO.
Yeah, I'm taking Sean Brady here as well, just because I think Jake Matthews does everything well. But I think that Sean Brady does everything just a little bit better than Jake Matthews does. Sean Brady's been an animal in the octagon, and he's fought some stiff competition, but so has Jake Matthews. Ever since moving up to welterweight, he's done extremely well. Jake Matthews hasn't submitted anybody in 5 years, I don't think. So it is going to be a little rough for him to get a submission. I could see it happening maybe if he gets on top, but I don't know if Jake Matthews is going to be able to get a takedown on Sean Brady's wrestling defense. But I see Sean Brady winning this fight.
I do think Matthews wouldn't be a bad pick on FanDuel or DraftKings. He's very low price, so not terrible pick. I think he's 6,800 on DraftKings actually, so that's not a bad price for Matthews.
Next we have Carlos Ulberg and Kennedy Nzechukwu.
Who is Nzechukwu lost to?
It was against Paul Craig with a sneaky submission. It was a comeback from Paul Craig, which he's known for. But Darko Stosic got 2 points taken away from him in that fight for low blows.
Yeah.
And if that wouldn't have happened, he would have handedly beat Njoku there.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going Carlos Ulberg. I've seen him fight a couple of times, and the dude is vicious.
Yeah.
Njoku has the length and stuff, but he doesn't utilize it well. Ulberg's going to get in, and he's going to finish it in the first or early second round. He's just going to... It's going to be... I don't know. It's going to be wild.
Yeah, I'm going with the New Zealand, Carlos Ulberg. From what I saw, he looked very good.
Next, we have Tim Elliott versus Jordan Espinosa. So, Tim Elliott's kind of a wild man, but here, I think Jordan Espinosa just has way too much. Yeah. I think he easily wins this fight because Tim Elliott's going to blow his load at the beginning of the fight. He's going to go takedown after takedown after takedown. And I think Espinosa has good enough wrestling defense to prevent those takedowns. And I think he's got a way better stand-up than Elliot does. So I see Espinosa winning, probably by decision. But
well, you saw the last fight. Elliot, he's dominating early, but he got tired against
Ray Benoit. Or Ryan Benoit.
And yeah, he tired out, almost got knocked out a couple of times, but I think he ended up getting the decision victory.
Yeah.
But yeah, Espinosa, from what I've seen, he's pretty good. He's pretty good stamina-wise, so I think he'll keep up with him and end up squeaking out a decision or possibly knocking him out. Although Elliot's tough to knock out.
All right, next we have KaraFrance versus Rogerio Bontorin. I'm going to take KaraFrance here because I love his stand-up, and I think he's got pretty good takedown defense. I really don't know too much about Bontorin. I know that he's beat Paev, and I don't really know who...
Split decision with
Bulutov. And he lost to Ray Borg by decision, which there's nothing bad in that. Ray Borg was a phenomenal fighter when he was with the promotion. But I just really like KaraFrance. I see him winning this fight. Probably pointing and winning a decision.
Yeah, I think KaraFrance wins by decision. I know his last fight, same card as Adesanya, lost to Royval. Who was his other one? Oh, Brandon Moreno. I actually looked at the stats. It seemed like it was pretty close against Moreno.
Yeah, no shame in losing to Moreno either.
Yeah. So
Moreno's a dog.
KaraFrance is a good fighter. He's great on the ground, great on the feet. I'm going with him. He's a sleeper for flyweight.
There are just some fights here. Oh, my goodness. There are some fights here that I don't understand how they are on the undercard, but yet they are, and I'm excited to still have them. Because if you don't want to watch the pay-per-view and pay for it, you get to watch these fights, which is really exciting. So you got Joseph Benavidez fighting Askar Askarov. Here, I'm going to take Askar Askarov. I think he's going to be a little too much for Benavidez at this point of his career. I think Benavidez is going to hold his own fairly well, but I think Askarov's just a hell of a fighter right now, and he deserves to be at the top of that division. He's going to prove it here against Joseph Benavidez.
Yeah, I'm going Askar as well. I think Benavidez hangs it up after this fight. I mean, it's been a heck of a career if he does, and I just think he's a lot younger. He's probably can last a lot longer than Benavidez because I think this one goes to decision. It's going to be very high paced too. So yeah, I'm going Askar. I think he ends up out
pointing.
Oh, I was going to say out staminaing. That's not even a word.
All right, this is another exciting fight on the prelim. Kyler Phillips versus Yadong Song, or Song Yadong, however you want to say it. Two studs, two young guys who are really doing very well right now. I actually like Kyler Phillips here. And the only reason I say that is because Kyler Phillips really brings it. And Song Yadong does too. But I thought when I looked at that Song Yadong versus Chito Vera fight, I still believe that Chito Vera won that fight. But Kyler Phillips, man, he's just exciting. I like watching the kid. He reminds me of a younger, like, nowadays Uriah Faber, even though Faber's still around. But, you know, like the younger version of Uriah Faber for kids now that are watching UFC. I'm going to take Phillips as an underdog here against Song Yadong. What about you?
Phillips really hasn't fought anybody great, but the people he has fought, he absolutely dominated. And Song Yadong, like you said, got a very close decision against Cheeto, which was questionable. I personally think Yadong did get it, but it was like it could have been either one. But yeah, I'm going Phillips here, man. He's looked great in every aspect of mixed martial arts. I mean, he just looked great.
All right. Let's go on. Another good fight on the prelim main event. You got the up-and-coming Casey Kenney, who's been putting on clinics against people, and then Dominick Cruz coming back after the Henry Cejudo fight. I'm taking Casey Kenney here. I think he goes to the body really well. I think he does extremely well on the ground. I think Dominick Cruz is a little past the fighting game. I think he really needs to kind of just step back, go to the commentator desk. I think he'll do well in this fight. I don't think that he's going to be a slouch and Kenny's going to run over him. I think it'll be a decision win for Kenney. But Kenney really mixes it up well, and I would be very surprised if I see Dominick Cruz win this fight.
Yeah, Kenny's a really high-energy guy. This could be possibly another retirement fight. I'm not saying Cruz does retire, but if he loses to Kenney, possibly he doesn't want to be that gatekeeper. So yeah, I'm going Kenney. I think at Cruz's age, Kenny's just better almost all around.
So to start the main card, we have Thiago Santos against Alexander the Rocket Rakic. Who do you have here, Ron?
I'm going Santos in an upset. He who did he lose? He lost to Glover.
Glover and John Jones.
John Jones in a very close
destroyed both
decision.
of his knees.
A lot of people think that could have taken a toll on him. I think he gets back on track with a win here against an impressive Rakic. It's going to be close though.
I'm going Santos as well. Santos is a phenomenal Muay Thai striker, and I love watching him throw knees and elbows out of the clinch. Rakic is probably going to try to wrestle him because I don't think Rakic holds up well on the feet against Thiago. I saw Thiago actually working out on UFC's episode 1 of Embedded.
Yeah.
And that dude's a monster. He looks like he's in phenomenal shape. He looks like he's ready to come back from those 2 losses and really prove to people that he deserves to be at the top of the division. He deserves to be number 2 in the UFC light heavyweight division. And I think he's going to win. I want to say TKO, but if he does get a TKO, it'll probably be later in the fight. I don't see this being an early victory. This is a big one right here. Islam Makhachev versus Drew Dober. Who you got here?
Islam. I don't think I have to even tell why. Islam's been impressive everywhere. Ground, feet. Dober's no slouch. But I just don't know. He did beat. Did he lose to Dariush?
Yes, he lost to Dariush. Submission armbar.
Yeah, I just think Islam's on his way up, and it's going to be hard for anybody to stop him at this point.
I'm actually going with Dober here. And the only reason I'm going with Dober is because people say from AKA, where he trains out of, that Islam actually took rounds off of Khabib, like during training and stuff. So Islam's obviously phenomenal, and he's obviously probably going to get a title shot one day, and he may even be champion. But I feel like right now, he's letting people feed into it, and I feel like sometimes people have to be brought back down another level. And I think Dober is the guy that could possibly do it. I'm not saying he's 100% going to win, but I feel like if there was an upset on this card that was going to happen, I think Dober's the one that's going to shock the world. I think Dober would be the one to beat Islam Makhachev and make the biggest upset on this card.
Stay tuned for my biggest upset on the card.
Megan Anderson. Next, we have our first of 3 title fights. We have Aljamain Funkmaster Sterling against the champion Peter Yan. Who do you have here?
This was probably the toughest in my opinion to pick. I mean, they're both phenomenal everywhere, beating some great competition. But I think I'm gonna go Aljamain. He's if he gets him down, it's gonna be a long night for Jan. Jan's pretty good on the feet as well. I mean, on the ground as well. But I think Jan has to keep this on the feet to win, because he could easily get submitted by Sterling.
Yeah. Sterling's phenomenal at backpacking, getting on the back and getting that rear naked choke. I'm actually taking Aljo here too, just because we know Jan is a master of combat on the feet. And but Aljamain's no slouch on the feet, even though if you do watch that Moraes fight, that was quite the wake up for Aljamain. But he really just got caught. It wasn't him fighting poor or anything. I see Aljamain getting him on the ground with his fantastic wrestling. We haven't seen Jan truly get tested on the ground yet. We saw Faber shoot in, get on the hips, but he wasn't able to take Jan down. That could be reciprocated here, but I think that Sterling has better wrestling than Uriah Faber does. So I think it'll definitely be an interesting contest. But I think Aljamain's going to pull it out here. I think he's the most likely to get an upset victory in the champion fights.
And he's almost a favorite. It's close. But
And this is one with a huge dog in it. So, Megan Anderson fighting Amanda Nunes. Who do you have here?
well, I'm going Nunes. But I don't think Anderson should be that big of an underdog. I see why she is. But Anderson is going to bring it this fight. I think she does pretty well in this fight. But, Nunes is just way too good on the ground. And even the feet, but I think Anderson holds her own on her feet. I think Nunes has to take it to the ground this fight. But I think she does. I think she just ground and pounds her whole way to the end of the fight.
Yeah, I see it being reminiscent of the Jermaine Durandame fight, where Durandame was actually getting the better of Nunes on the feet, and Nunes just continued to take her down, ground and pound. Even though if you go back and watch that fight, I think Durandame knocked her out with an up kick, and then when she fell, Nunes came back too. But I do think Nunes wins this via ground and pound. Megan Anderson is going to do pretty well on the feet, I believe, because as long as she keeps that distance with her long legs and stuff, just keep body poking, I think she'll do well on the feet, and then Amanda Nunes is going to end up figuring it out and just take her down and end up beating her that way. And then we get to our main event. Israel Adesanya goes up to light heavyweight to fight Jan Blachowicz for the light heavyweight championship. Who do you have here? I know who you have, but who do you have here?
Well, I'm going Izzy. I think the odds should be a lot closer though. Because it's going to be tough for Izzy. But he's dealt with those heavy hitters down in middleweight. He's gone against, Romero hit, but Romero didn't really do anything. He's went against Costa, made Costa look foolish, even whether he's drunk or not.
He was not drunk.
I'm not gonna get into that. Robert Whittaker, who's a very tough hitter.
And that Kelvin Gastelum fight was something else too, and he did that against a really well-rounded wrestler.
Mm-hmm. So, a lot of people think he's going up to light heavyweight. He's too small for it, or too skinny, doesn't have enough power. But, he's one of the best precision strikers that I've ever seen. But surprisingly, I think Adesanya wins this in a decision. I think this could possibly be fight of the year.
I'm going with Izzy too. I don't think it'll go to decision. I think he'll wear Blachowicz out. And you go to the precision striking thing of Israel Adesanya. And that's the thing. If you hit somebody right on the button, you don't need the power. If you catch them right behind the ear, if you catch them right on the jaw, it's lights out. It's over. So you don't need that power. That power doesn't have to transition if you know where to hit people. I am honestly one of those people that really doesn't like Israel Adesanya a whole lot, but I can't take anything away from the guy. It's like Tom Brady. It's like, I hate that he wins all the time, but you got to respect what they're doing in there. So yeah, I think Israel Adesanya wins by TKO, probably second or third round.
I think Jan could possibly win the first round. Very similar to what Whittaker did before he got that big knockdown to send him to round 2.
What are your 2 locks here?
2 locks, I'm going Islam and Nunes.
Oh.
Go,
okay.
go ahead.
I'm taking Izzy, and who's my other one? Oh, Sean Brady. I'm taking Izzy and Sean Brady. Even though I do think the Brady fight is going to be close, I think Sean Brady will end up racking up a good bit of points. So who are your 2 underdogs here?
So I'm going to go Kyler Phillips. He's actually 7,400 on DraftKings. That's a very good price for Phillips because even if this goes to decision and Sonya squeaks it out, I think Phillips can be one of those guys that puts up 50 to 60 points without the win. And then my next one is Santos. I think Santos could get an early finish. Even if he doesn't, I mean, he'll get a lot of strikes. The only problem is I don't know if Santos will get a lot of control time. But, yeah, Santos, he's at 7,600, I believe.
Yeah, 7,600.
So that's not a bad price for number 4 contender.
I'm going the same 2 underdogs. I think Phillips and Santos are really, even though I said Dober, I don't live and die by the Dober pick. That's more of just I like Drew Dober, and I think he could pull off the upset. But I think Santos and Phillips are 2 guys that are underdogs and are cheap that you could use to stack your lineup with some of the guys higher up. I see Phillips and Santos both being able to win and being able to win violently too, early, getting you a lot of points. So yeah, I would definitely agree with you there. So I think that sums it up for us. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Simulate Sports Network. We'll make a show every week for every fight night, pay-per-view. So thanks for watching and take it easy.